So today we're talking about balling on a budget, meaning you have no money, you're starting out. We're gonna pretend that we got nothing. Okay? What are the things that you should be, not necessarily like what are the things you should be buying? I've done videos on that as well, but basically like what are the actual cheapest things and most conscientious things that you should be buying on that budget. So first things first, you should definitely, I say this in like every video because a lot of people don't do it, is you should be spinning the wheel in the casino. There is free money on there. You can get free clothes. You can get the car that's on there. You can get RP, which unlocks other things that you can be doing. So again, I can't stress this enough. Just go in and spin the wheel. I've already spun it today, so I can't. And then go over and stop in at the cashier and get your visitor bonus. Again, I've already done mine today. I can't get it, but it's a free 1,000 chips, which is $1,000 in game. So be getting those, getting that every single day, and be getting and spinning the wheel every single day. 100%. That's your best budget options. All right, there are a few other things that we want to hit today. I'm just gonna run through everything basically on the phone that you should be doing. I'm gonna hang up on everybody on the phone right now, but we're gonna run through this real quick, and then what are like the businesses you should be buying, etc. We're gonna make it as quick and painless as possible. The motorcycle club businesses and stuff like that, I always recommend just getting like the cheapest option. It really doesn't matter where it is. You're gonna be selling on the other side of the city, so don't worry about the locations of those, especially if you get like an arcade at some point. Arcade you want as centrally located as possible to resupply those, so you don't even have to deal with going to them as much anyway. So right now we're going to jump onto the internet, and we're going to look at cars, and we're going to look at houses and businesses. So let's run through those right now. First off, again, we're on a budget. We got very little to no money. Okay, so most important thing, just running through each option. I think there's 2-door and 4-door options that are free. So clicking on 2-door, sorting by price, there are free options in here. Great for people on a budget. These are all decent vehicles to start out with. Cheap, obviously, as cheap as you can possibly get, being free. There are other cheap vehicles on here, 11,000, 16,000, things like that. I would avoid those at all costs until you're like getting up money and then blowing it. Free vehicles that are stolen off of the street, you can put into a garage. So claim those as well, get those and then put them in the garage. Just eventually you have to buy insurance on them. If you do buy through the websites, those automatically come with insurance. And then finally the 4-doors, we're also going to sort by price. There's also this Sprunk vehicle over here, so we're going to get that. The next thing that you're really going to save up for on the vehicles, and we'll jump over to Legendary Motorsports in a second, is the armored Kuruma. You will see the Karen Kuruma right here. That is not what we want. It seems cheap, 95,000. We're going to scroll down at 525,000 is the Karen Kuruma armored. That should be like the first like vehicle that you buy. That will save you anything and everything. That is a lifesaver for you in missions and heists and everything. It's fast, it's armored, it's an amazing vehicle. It corners well. It's an elite vehicle. I highly recommend it. All right, so that should be like the first vehicle that you actually spend like legit money on. Jumping back to Legendary Motorsports, there is a free vehicle on here as well. I think it's a 2-door, and we're going to sort by price. There it is. The Elegy RH8, also an amazing vehicle. Everybody gets this one for free. Fantastic car. Again, great traction, great top speed, great acceleration. It's a great sports car to start out with. So for balling on a budget, this is a great everyday vehicle flying around Los Santos. So highly recommend. It's free. Just get it. All right. Next thing, we're going to talk about the Warstock cash and carry. So again, I can sort by price. It's just going to give me everything from the free options to the most expensive options. Again, there are free vehicles on here for anybody who's on a budget, who's not looking to spend, but also get a lot of stuff, right? These are both two-seaters. They're actually both a lot of fun. The Marshall is just a monster truck. I think there's a couple different options, and you can customize it quite a bit, but again, an amazing, like a monster truck for going off-roading, just having a good time. And the Duke of Death is also super fun. It's actually got pretty decent speed. Again, free. It's you can't be free, right? So highly recommend that. As far as the rest of the stuff on Warstock, I think the only other thing that on here, like early on, that I would probably recommend would be the Insurgent pickup. I would probably avoid the other Insurgent. The Night Shark is okay. It's got little cannons in the front. It can take a lot of sticky bombs and oppressor missiles, things like that. So it's decent. But the Buzzard attack chopper is also a fantastic, like, starting attack chopper. You can use that from beginning to end. Like that'll be an amazing chopper from all the way through for any type of mission and stuff as well. So fantastic option. Everything else for now, I would probably just totally avoid. It's going to be way too expensive and not necessarily worth it. Getting a helicopter or something like that to getting like from point A to point B a little bit faster, that would be another really good thing to save up money for. The Insurgent, again, not needed really at all. There are other vehicles out there that are a lot faster. It's just a very unique and unique vehicle with tons of armor. It's got the gun on the top, things like that. So it's pretty handy for missions and PvP stuff, things like that. Next up is the Elitist Travel. Again, everything just sort by price, and you're going to get a great free option here. In the Dodo, you can land this on land and in the water. So again, a great option. Everything else on here, I would probably avoid. And honestly, the more expensive things, there are really expensive things in here that are like big no-nos. So this Swift Deluxe and this Luxor Deluxe, these are on here as well, a lot cheaper, 1.6 million versus 10 million. The only difference is the gold plating and slightly different cosmetics on the inside. That's it. You're gonna buy it once and really never use it again. If you're gonna buy it, you might as well just buy the cheap option. But honestly, this thing spawns so often, you really don't need to do that. So that's it for here. Like I said, like you can save up. I would recommend saving more money and getting things from Warstock rather than just these vehicles. You're gonna want more armored vehicles and stuff as well. So that would be more handy for down the road. All right. So next up, let's go ahead and look at houses. Right, you're wanting to get a bunch of vehicles, things like that. So we're going to look at houses. So again, if we're on a budget and we're looking at low end, I usually tell people, like, let's avoid the locations that are way out of the way and are two-car options. You can see on here in the low end, whichever end here, high end, medium, it will tell you how many cars it can hold in the garage. And that cost of $118,000. Okay, seems like, oh, okay, well, that's dirt cheap. It's not that far away. These type of things, it is. You're not going to want to constantly go there. And then there's options in the city for $112,000 two car, $105,000 in the city two car. Again, avoid it if you can. If you look at the high end options, all right. We're going to go high end, and then we're just going to scroll down a little bit here. We're going to start finding locations with 10 cars that are just a few $100,000 more. But if I keep going down, look at these. Now we've got stuff in the city. These are garages, right? But now here's an apartment, $200,000. It's in the city, and it's 10 car garage. That is a much better option for an additional like $40,000-$50,000. I can drop $200,000 for an apartment with a 10-car garage. So I would highly recommend just saving some money. You can, as time goes on, you can start buying some of these cheaper 10-car garages. I do find, and I do recommend this as well, as you're buying those 10-car garages and you start filling those up, don't worry about the location on the 10-car garages. It's like, man, like, I don't want to go over there, or I never find myself over there, or my businesses aren't over there. That's perfectly fine. Guess what? You're never really going to go in your garage. You're going to call your mechanic. You're going to call your vehicles in that way. The odds of you going into that garage, once you fill it up with the vehicles and you've customized those vehicles and you've got it filled up, you're rarely going to be in it unless you just happen to be over there. So I would recommend, just don't worry about the location. Just get the 10-car garages, even if it's on the north end over by Paleto Bay, whatever. Just get the cheapest 10-car options. Again, you're not going to go into it until you've filled it up. Once it's filled up, you're good. So in the medium options, if you don't want to quite spend as much. So actually, you know what, we're just going to go all the way up here and look. So I want to point some things out. Okay, so there's $143,000 options, and these are 6-car garages. Okay, so these are okay, but here's like 175. This one up here is 165,000, and it's a 6-car garage. Okay, it's way up in Paleto Bay. It's as far away from the city and all the stuff that you want to do for 165,000. Oddly enough, if you just scroll down, you can start finding same type of apartment and the 6-car garages for less money. So these are all in the city. Now these are garages down here, but these right here, 125,000, 126,000, 128,000. These are all in the city for less money, right? So 141,000. So I would highly look at these apartments if you were going to go with that 6-car option. Again, you could just save up another 50,000 and get the high-end apartment for 200 with a 10-car garage. An extra 50,000 is not a big deal. You can go bust through a couple of missions, a couple of contact missions, and get that money. You can go do some races. You can go do some double money RP, whatever that event is that's happening that week. Go do that for 20, 30 minutes, and guess what? You're going to have well more than that to just invest in that next option. So that's what I would recommend for the houses. The high-end stuff and the custom apartments, things like that, you're going to want a high-end apartment at some point. So again, saving up for those because you're going to want the heist room. So to start up heist, you're going to want a high-end apartment, again, with those 10-car garages at some point. So I'd highly recommend saving up and making that like your first like actual house. So just throwing that out there. It's a little bit more money, but we're balling on a budget today. So look at that. Next up, we're going to be looking at businesses. So we're going to check these out real quick. So I'm just going to run through each of these super fast. So the clubhouses, again, these are the motorcycle clubhouses. Most people want to try to buy things and put them in the city. Again, that's perfectly fine. After you run through the setup stuff, though, you're going to find yourself really not going back into the motorcycle club that often. I never do. And honestly, after I've set up my businesses and got those, I think I've maybe been in my motorcycle club like 5 times. So just throwing that out there, you may want to consider some of the cheap options for the motorcycle clubs. These are in the 200,000 option up here, and then the 240 and 250 option. This is the one that I own. I forget how much this is, but it's going to be in that $200,000 range. It's not that far away. There's a lot of drug businesses in this area, as well as a bunker and a facility right down the road. So a lot of my businesses like that are in this area, and it kind of gives me a reason to go up in this area if I need to. All right, so that's my recommendation. The motorcycle club businesses down in the city are going to be a little bit more expensive. So 365, 395, 420,000, 449. So again, saving yourself 100, 200,000, real quick and easy way to do that is just by putting your motorcycle club up. Again, that first couple weeks, once you get everything set up and running, you're not going to be spending as much. Similar with the bunkers, all the bunkers are going to be up north. So again, they're all going to be a little bit farther away. There is a sneaky one on the east side that's actually probably the closest to the city, is one of the cheaper options at $1.65 million. So again, that's a real cheap option this close. The other close one is 2.375. I think that's going to be one of the more expensive ones. As all these, this is the one that I own. Again, it's right next to my motorcycle club business. That's why I got that one. 2.1, and then 1.4. So there's your kind of cheapest one. A lot of people put this one up here because it is the actual cheapest one, $1.165 million. But it is way out of the way. You're going to find it really obnoxious. Even flying up there is going to take you several minutes. So again, I would avoid that one. Look at this one if you're going to get it. It's $400,000 more. Or sorry, this one right here. It's, yeah, like $500,000 more. But it's a little bit closer. So just an option to look at. But again, all of these are around that $2 million range in this area. So not too bad, and it might be close to a lot of your other businesses. The hangars, so the interesting thing with the hangars, all of the ones at the military base are 2.6 or 2 million to 3.2 million. So they're all fairly expensive options. But it does unlock you to be able to get into Fort Zancudo without getting that one in level. So that's kind of the win with it. However, again, the ones down at the actual airport are options that you'll probably find yourself going to a lot more. It's a lot closer to everything down here in the city, and they're a lot cheaper. So I guess to me, it's how much are you willing to pay extra just for not getting stars at the military base. So to me, I don't ever go into the military base. There's really no reason for me to do that. There are better jets out there than the Laser and the Rhino, and there's better tanks out there than the Rhino tank. Like the only things that you could really do in there. So again, highly recommend just the saving a lot of money, getting these. They're closer and half of the price. So that's my recommendation for the hangars. The facilities are all up north. So all of these, again, they're all out there in the middle of nowhere. This is the one that I own. They're, like I said, they're all up here. There's no difference between really any of them other than the location. What I would recommend, and I'm going to point this one out right here, is this $1.8 million. It's the cheapest option right here. This one's going to be a lot more expensive at 2.9. This one right here is actually at a pretty good location. It's right off of a lot of main roads, and it's not that far away from the city. So it's a good, affordable option if you are going to buy one of these. So one of the facilities. So 1.8 million, I think, is the cheapest option from these. One of these might be cheaper, 1.4. This one might be also cheaper, 1.2. So there's your cheapest options way up here. Again, they're super far away, really obnoxious. And if you're doing like the doomsday heists, you're really not going to want to go up there. So just FYI on that. The nightclubs. So nightclubs all down here in the city. There are no options way up north. They're all pretty centrally located. So to me, none of them really matter. As far as that goes, I would highly recommend just getting the cheapest option for those, which is probably like this one, 1.1, 1.0. So you'd be dropping 1 million on the nightclubs. It looks like that's probably your cheapest option right down here. It's a little bit out of the way, and you will probably be going to it quite often. So just kind of keep that in mind as far as like when buying the nightclubs. If you do have the money, something a little bit more centrally located is handy. However, I would recommend just going as cheap as you possibly can. The nightclub is extremely useful, so dropping the money on the nightclub once you have motorcycle businesses is highly recommended. The arcades. So there is a couple arcades way up north. I would probably avoid those because you're going to want to be going to the arcade on the regular. Just for the simple fact that you're going to want to do that just to upgrade your businesses, or excuse me, not upgrade your businesses, but resupply your businesses. That's one of the handiest reasons to have one of the arcades. So I would recommend one of the arcades down here at the bottom. But again, you shouldn't get an arcade until, and this is probably the cheapest one in the city right here, this 1.875. I own this one just because it's right by my nightclub and right by my Eclipse high-end tower. So I recommend this one probably right here. It's 1.875 million. And again, there's no reason to get this until you're running a nightclub with a bunch of motorcycle businesses before that. So Arcade is handy after that. It's also the reason to do the casino heist. You do need the arcade, get that set up and purchased before you start the casino heist. The auto shops. Again, if you're making the deliveries, there are no auto shops way up north. So really, they're all going to get delivered. You can either get the auto shops and have yourself deliver them, where you're going to be driving 2-3 miles away anyway, or you're going to have your employees do it, your staff do it. So there's no difference between any of them. Just get the cheapest option on here. This is the one I own, which I think is just because it's by several other things. I'm not sure which one's the cheapest. It's probably that one, 1.6. There you go. So there's a 1.6 million right there. I'm not sure how cheap this one was. But again, all of these are fairly cheap options. You can get your money back on them pretty quick too with the auto shops. Salvage yards, there are some up north. Again, you're going to have to go to these to collect the money. You're going to have to deliver vehicles up to these. I would highly recommend getting ones in the city. You're going to get pickups that are 1, 2, 3 miles away the majority of the time, so it's not going to be that far, and you're going to want to have those be in the city. So I would recommend just finding the cheapest option in the city, which is probably the one I have here. This one right here. There is this right here that's 2.6. This one that's 2.4. The ones up north are probably going to be a little bit cheaper, 2 million, and this is going to be 1.6. So if you really want it, you can go up there. It's just going to be really far for you to have to go and then pick up money from those from the safes. And then finally the bail offices. Again, there are going to be a couple options way up north, or maybe just this one option, 1.65 million. I would again recommend the cheapest one in the city, so you can keep everything down here. I own this one right here, which is super handy. I like it because, again, it's around a lot of my other stuff. So if I'm going out and doing like daily tasks, I can get everything in kind of my own little circle, and I can just kind of fly around the city and hit those quick things to send out. So again, highly recommend options in the middle. Next thing we're going to hit is the armor. So armor, while not overly expensive, you can get from ammunition. You can get when starting up contact missions, things like that. There is a place where you can get armor for free. You are going to get kind of a wanted level on yourself. But if you come right here, if you've done the Cluck and Bell missions, you know right where this police station is. On the back side of this police station, right here, there is a SWAT vehicle. There is a SWAT vehicle that will spawn. If you jump into that, that will give you armor. Yeah. So just hopping into it will give you that full armor option right there. So kind of see that pop up at the bottom. Pretty nice and handy. And hey, you get a free SWAT truck out of the deal too. All right, next up, snacks. So we've got our armor. Now I need snacks, and I need a way to buy those snacks, right? If I go into the stores, they're a few dollars each, $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 sometimes. So, and I don't want to buy an agency. You can't come down here to Simeon's, and they do have free snacks right here on the counter. You can grab those, top off all of your snacks right here. So, real quick and easy way to do that. You can just walk up here, grab some snacks. All my snacks are currently full, but again, all of these are free. So, obviously, really good options for people who are balling on a budget. Next up, we're going to go into ammunition. Obviously, balling on a budget, there are certain things that you should or shouldn't buy. Some things do require a level for you to purchase them, or a certain higher level. So if you're level 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, there are certain guns and things that you just cannot buy. As I said, like, you can get a free armor out of the police riot vehicle. The armor in here, again, all my armor is full. You can't purchase these. These are several $100s to buy these. So you can save money by getting that riot van and then just escaping the police if you need to, or you can purchase them through here. In the ammunition, there are just a few guns I would recommend as far as like the cheapest options. I would look at the AP pistol or the machine pistol or any like smaller SMG option for shooting out. I wouldn't recommend getting like a pistol or like any other type of like normal handgun. I would avoid those. Sorry, I was having a brain fart. I would avoid the handguns, the revolvers, and things like that. I would focus on like the little pistols, like the AP pistols, anything that's automatic that can shoot quite a bit. Those are perfect for vehicles. And then again, like I think like one assault rifle to start off with, and then either like the heavy shotgun or the assault shotgun are both equally decent shotguns. I would probably recommend the heavy. If you're gonna just get one shotgun, that's probably a great starter shotgun. And by that I mean it's the best shotgun in the game. So it's got the fastest fire rate and amazing damage. And actually has decent range for a shotgun, so highly recommend the assault shotgun. Everything else is probably avoidable for now. One small SMG or a pistol like the machine pistol or the AP pistol. You can look at like the marksman rifle and the heavy sniper. Once you can afford those, are great. As far as like the homing and the RPG, the minigun, I don't think the minigun you can get until level 120 anyway, and by then you've got plenty of money. But the RPGs and the homing, you don't need right away. They're handy at first. Same with like the grenades and stuff. Like grenades, I never find myself using. I would recommend the sticky bombs or the proximity mines. Those would be much more useful than the grenades. So I always keep them full, but the grenades not heavily used in my opinion. So you can probably save some money there. That's really it as far as like that goes. The melee weapons I just never use. You're gonna find yourself using guns. Like you're just not gonna be using the melee weapons. So save that for now. Buy those later for fun. So that's it. That's a great starting way to ball on a budget. Getting the correct businesses and apartments and houses. I have several other videos that I can link below that you can check out. Tons of different ways to get started, things you should and shouldn't buy, things like that. So feel free to check those out. But if you need any other assistance or if you have other recommendations, comment in that below. But if you need assistance, feel free to comment and let me know. Might be more willing to help you out and get you going. Thanks for watching. Later.